Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, partnering with donors from all walks of life to improve southeastern Virginia through grants, scholarships, and leadership initiatives. Learn more at hamptonroadscf.org.
Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, now becoming Virginia Peninsula Community College, the first choice to start a bachelor's degree since tuition is one-third the cost of four-year schools. More at tncc.edu.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Another View producer, Lisa Godley, filling in for Barbara Hamley. Have you ever considered starting your own business? And if so, what would you do? There's a famous quote, some attribute to Mark Antony, some to Mark Twain, others give Confucius credit, but regardless of who's responsible for it, it goes something like this: if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Today on Another View, you'll meet some entrepreneurs who are turning their dreams into reality. Another View will be right back after this national news from NPR.
Discussing today's topics from an African American perspective, this is Another View.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Another View producer Lisa Godley, filling in for Barbara Hamley. Before we get started today, I want to take a minute to invite you to join us next Thursday at the Hampton Roads Convention Center for a live broadcast with the Buffalo Soldiers. All we ask is that you log on to our website at anotherviewradio.org and register for the event so that we can reserve your seat. Barbara and I are very excited about taking Another View out into the community for the first time in almost 3 years. So join us next Thursday for a live broadcast from the Hampton Roads Convention Center for a historic look at the Buffalo Soldiers of yesterday and their modern day namesakes. I also want to take a moment and say thank you for all of the congratulations that myself and the team here, our production team at WHRO, has received for the awards we won 2 weeks ago. Yes, the Freeman Vines piece that we aired, the radio version here on Another View, won both a Virginia Association of Broadcasters Award and a regional Emmy, and we are very excited about that. The team brought home 5 Emmys and about 7 Virginia Association of Broadcasters Awards. And I just want to say, if you have not watched Curate on WHRO, you're missing some excellent locally produced television. So make it a point to tune into Curate. You can always watch past episodes on the WHRO website. Now, today, I am very excited about today's Another View because the 4 people you're about to meet are making their entrepreneurial dreams a reality. Joining me in the studio today is Billy Comer and Rodney Malone, 2 of the founders of the 1865 Brewing Company in Hampton, Virginia. Billy and Rodney, welcome to Another View.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Also with us is Shauntel Davis. Shauntel has turned her passion for healthy eating into a booming business with her food truck and catering service. Shauntel, welcome to Another View.
Thank you for having me.
And finally, Lee Anderson, who created JLA Media Productions and does audio engineering for live events. Lee, welcome to Another View.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And in full disclosure, I am the president of Hampton Roads Black Media Professionals, and Lee is on the board. We work together there. We also work in the media ministry at Grove Church in Portsmouth, Virginia. And I just found out about this incredible business that Lee has that everybody was telling me about. I was like, what? Okay, so he's a guest here today, and I'm excited for you to hear about his story. Shauntel, I am going to start with you because today you're hearing people talk about healthy eating, doing better. I got to do better. I got to, get off this medication. I got to lose weight. And you have a journey, and I want you to tell us your story first.
Well, definitely. That's where it started. I was suffering from health issues, the usual high blood pressure. My back was hurting, headaches. I was overweight at 256 pounds. At the time, I was a clinician working with children with autism, And I just started to see a link between the way I ate, the way these children ate, and how it led to certain health issues. And doing research, I heard about different meal prep programs, and I wanted to see if I could get into that. What would I need to do? So that's how it started. I just started taking some of the things that I learned. If you guys have heard of Dr. Sabi, and trying to make creative, delicious meals, because I had tasted some vegan plant-based items that they sell in the store, and I just wanted to put my twist on it. So that's how it started. And that's what inspired me.
Well, from someone who has tasted your wares, you're doing a good job at it.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
my 1865 fellas. How did all this come about? Who wants to start?
It was all
Billy?
a dream.
Okay.
So it kind of fell on our lap, to be honest with you. I originally went to the building, the facility. It was during COVID, so we kind of, was just mask on, and I was actually touring it because I was going to do the construction for it. I'm a federal and residential and commercial contractor. That is my trades. That's what really pays the bills. We'll get into that later. But so we looked at the facility, and I seen in there that said Traffic Brewing, because that was going to be the name of it, Traffic Brewing. So I was jokingly telling the gentleman that I was doing the build out for, hey, instead of you doing it, he wanted to do it like a lounge or something like that. I said, keep it as a brewery, because it was going to originally be a brewery. He was like, I don't know nothing about it. I said, me either. I said, but I can partner with you, and you can save money on the build out cost. So, we thought about it, met with the owner of the building, and then I sat with the owner of the building. They backed out for whatever reasons. And I said, I would do it if I can get the brewer that was going to be in here brewing, because I know nothing about making beer itself. Now we do, just through trial and error and being there and hands-on and purchasing and everything else. Looked at the facility and said, okay, all right, I'll do it. He agreed, the brewmaster agreed that he'll come on and help me out. And it's COVID time. So, at first we thought it was going to be X amount of dollars to do the build out. And I know from construction, it was X amount of dollars. I had no clue about the equipment and the delays pertaining to COVID and getting stuff shipped and all this stuff. So we took a gamble. I reached out to my good friend Rodney. I said, man, listen, man, I'm gonna need help with this endeavor. It's something that we can stand behind. And here's what I think that, we can make an impact. And he was like, man, I'm all for it. I stand behind you. So let's do it. And that's how 1865 began.
Rodney, you want to tell us about the name? I love the name. For somebody who covers a lot of the African American diaspora, I love the name, but explain it to folks who might not get it.
Thanks. I want to say thanks for having us today.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on all the Emmys and all the awards you guys got.
Thank you.
When Billy called me, he was like, hey, we have this opportunity to, give back to the community. And that's one of my big babies there. I like to work in the community, and by trade, I'm a therapist, and I have a private agency. We work with kids with autism. We have an ABA program. We have an intensive in-home program, and we do skill building for adults. And so when he called me and he was like, hey, we're going to be in the Hampton area, Phoebus. It's growing, and we're getting support there, and, let's do it. So we started talking about the area, and, you have Jamestown, you have Fort Monroe, you have all these areas where, there was a big black influence with slaves coming in, slaves being free, going to Fort Monroe. And so we thought about Emancipation Proclamation, which was actually signed in 1863 by President then Lincoln. And so we thought about that. And then, of course, 2 years later, it was the end of slavery in 1865. So we just kind of put that together. And that's where we got, the name from. But it's, the historical area, Jamestown, Yorktown, all of that, FIBA. So that's how we ended up with the name.
Right, wonderful. Now, I want y'all to be thinking about the challenges, because I'm going to come back to all three of you in a minute on to talk about some of the challenges, because people starting new businesses do have them. But I'm going to give Lee this opportunity to tell us about JLA, what it stands for, and how it all came about.
Well, JLA Media Productions, the name itself was something my wife and I put together. We are coming up on 27 years of marriage in August, as a matter of fact, next month. So one of the things we try to do and have tried to do through the life of our marriage was do everything that we could together. So from real estate to a motorcycle shop that we owned, to everything, we try to do it together. So the name, it's Jewel, Lee, and then Anderson. In the center is our last initial, Anderson. So music has really been my love for a long time. Ever since high school, it's always been my thing. And entrepreneurship as well. So it just kind of seemed like a fit, because when my daughter got into college and, dancing was a big thing for her, but she's a singer to heart. When she decided she wanted to take her music to the next level, and she's my baby. When I say wrapped around my finger, that's an understatement. Well, the other way around, you get what I'm saying.
Right.
It was my desire to do everything I can to support her and her dream. And I'm really, really big on following the things that really move you, and the money will come, So putting those things together and supporting her in what she's doing, it just seemed like a great fit. So now that desire, that passion has turned into supporting not only her and her vision and her dreams, but all kinds of other organizations, other talent all over the 7-5 and abroad. We do all kinds of venues, anything from a small wedding to a large-scale event. I partner with other companies in the area doing things like the Jazz Legacy Foundation. They have an event twice a year, June and November, or any other Emoja Festival. We partner with Portsmouth to do things for them all the time. So it's one of those things where, I took a little small idea or something that I called a habit at the time and just made it fun and profitable. So
wonderful. All right. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to start with you since you're right there at my immediate left. The challenges for having your own business.
Where do we begin? So the challenge with having your own business, and we know because me and Rodney both are entrepreneurs. So we kind of, invested ourselves in seeing whatever we do all the way through. So whether it be good, bad, or loss, or lose your shirt doing it, we're going to see it through. So having that understanding kind of, groomed us for what, we was going to partake in this new endeavor. The difficult part with the 1865 is neither one of us had restaurant experience. So that's a learning curve there. It's different stuff, meal tax, this, that, employees. We have employees, but it's a different setting because you get a different age group with people in the restaurant industry versus people that as far as superintendents or somebody that came out of college that's project managed for me or something like that on the construction side. The big issue with us was that COVID happened and we opened during COVID, so we got no grants, we got no money, no relief because we did this process in the middle of COVID. So there was no relief for myself or Rodney. So we all were just pulling money from our personal pockets to see this dream, this vision that we had both said, agreed that we we're going to do and see it through. So that was a big partake on both of our lives and financially as well. Food costs in restaurants are crazy and it goes high and low and get gas and everything else. You have to factor in every small thing that you don't think is a big deal that's really going to be a big deal. And because during COVID, we were ordering materials that wasn't local, and say, hey, your delivery will be here in a month and it'd be here in 4 months.
Wow.
So you're dealing with skeleton crew, dealing with ABC, and trying to get open, and it was just so much. And we both probably, walked out throwing our heads up in the air. I'm through with this, and then we like, I see you tomorrow. That type of thing, and we love it. So now it's one of those things. It's a meeting hub. A lot of politicians, a lot of just locals. We got a lot of support. So it's highs and lows, but for the listeners, be prepared. It's not going to just be easy. It's not oatmeal. It's not instant oatmeal. You won't put it in for 30 seconds and you get your results. That never happened to me in any business I ever, partake in as far as that. So, just know that, hey, in my construction company, I give you an example there. I had a truck and my truck didn't go in reverse. So the guys would get in the truck and we all had to put our foot out and push back to go in reverse. You know what I mean? But this is a dream as far as entrepreneurship goes. You have to just see it through and do whatever it takes. So, and that's what we're doing.
Have you had to make any permanent changes because of COVID to your dream or your ideas?
Well, yes. To be exact, I mean, where I live at now, I was going to build a house. It was going to be my forever home. I put that off to invest money into this dream. So that's just a sacrifice of life and seeing your dream through. I mean, and that's what I just said, okay, I'll wait for this because I'm prepared to buy this land and build this house. And this dream surpassed that. And I don't regret it at all. But so that's the fact of sacrificing that you just have to be prepared to do.
Gotcha. Rodney, you want to add something?
Well, yeah, I think Billy, touched on all points. It was really stressful when, dealing with deliveries and trying to get equipment and, grain and barley and all hops and all that, kind of stuff during COVID. And, so we still had to make payroll because we had a brewer there. Things go still
yeah, you can't tell
on.
People I'm not going to pay you because I'm having a bad time right now. Yeah.
Well, rent is, when the guy's coming for the rent, we can't say, oh, hey, we didn't sell a beer today or, some of that. But I think that all comes into factoring when you're, for our listeners, when you're planning to be or to have a business or whatever, you need to, have a strategy. It's kind of like writing a book. You have the beginning, the body of the book, and then the end. You have to have a business model that you need to go by, and you really need to stick by it. There's going to be ebbs and flows in that, but you always have to, try to plan around everything that's going to happen. Like with Crescent Counseling, a lot of when we started 13 years ago, people were getting these big offices and all of this stuff. And I was like, I'm not doing that. It takes 18 to 24 months to get a license. Well, I'm going to pay rent for 24 months and we don't have any cases. We don't have any clients. So, we met in my living room. Then we went to the local library to actually have team meetings and staff meetings, which we started growing kind of fast. But, it's a process. And some people want to jump right into, well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to do this. But if you don't plan for it and if you don't look at all the aspects of running the business, it's going to be a problem. And I always say, Billy and I, we talk about this all the time too. God is very important in what we're doing. So we need to put God first, and we'll pray and whatever, and He always sends us, the answers. I'm a firm believer in that. So.
Okay, thank you, Shauntel. The high, no, the low. Let's start with the lows. We'll circle back around to the highs.
So my story is about 13 years ago, I had an 80-seat restaurant in Old Town Portsmouth called The Taste of Culture, and within a year, it sunk. So I never thought I would be doing anything in the restaurant industry again. I went from there to trucking, to being an ABA clinician. I'm working with children with autism, and it's just so funny how we can speak to God, and He brought me back around to this. So I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of faith and belief in myself, and I just didn't think that I would be doing this again. The struggles I started with meal prep, so no one knew me. I had to get back out there, relearn marketing. I'm not really a Facebook, Instagram person, but you have to be in this industry. I was hacked continuously. Like I said, learning new trends. It scared me. I really didn't think that Avocargo would become what it's becoming. When it came to the food trailer, it was the middle of COVID. I kept having these dreams about what I wanted to do with the meal prep and instead of food truck. And I'm just like, I don't know anything about the food truck. Food truck is different from having a restaurant. But with supporters such as my partner, DJ, shout out to you, and family supporting me and pushing me, telling me I can do it. I started researching trailers in our area, and they were starting out about $50,000 in financing for trailers. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought I was just going to buy a $3,000 trailer, find someone to gut it out, and do all the cosmetic stuff that I needed. And it didn't work out like that. But I did find a great designer in Richmond, and I kept calling him. I went up there. I didn't know how I was going to be able to afford it. I went up there. I took pictures. I did a whole video to my followers, like, help me get this. Still continuing with the meal preps. And when it came to financing, they wanted like $1,000 a month. And I'm like, how many meals is that? Everything I look at is how many meals I have to sell just to get that. Long story short, I just took every credit card I had and bought this trailer. He worked with me. I was set to have the trailer in April. COVID hit. So I didn't really get all the parts and pieces until around September. Then finding out while I was out there just the rules and regulations, which were different from restaurants. You have to be licensed in every city. So you guys spoke to meal tax. Every 20th of the month in every city, I have to pay that tax. There's just an abundance of rules and regulations, especially in reference to trailers, the fire department, where you can park, where you can be. I didn't know I couldn't have the trailer in front of my house. I'm in Virginia Beach, like my neighbors told on me. So, and it's a $500 fine. Wow. So there's so many lows to it, but I accept the challenge. I realize that I'm here for a reason. And I guess when you come back to me, I could really expand on the highs
I'm
of
looking
the
forward
trailer.
to that. I hadn't even thought about the fact that you had to be licensed in every city to have
Every
a food truck. I
city.
hadn't even thought about that.
And
Oh,
then
my
there's
goodness.
a special event license. If you do special events, that's another $100 fee, and they want to collect taxes on that as well. So there's so many different ins and outs, and there isn't a pamphlet. There isn't a booklet. I have to go to each city. Each city has different rules. Find the go-to person, because food trucks were fairly new in this area. So you trying to partner with other food trucks in this area was challenging. Like, they didn't really want to welcome me with open arms. So I had to create my own path and do my own things. And I just thank God for the followers and everyone that's been supporting me and saying we need this in the community and helping me.
Okay. All right. If you're just joining us, we're talking to entrepreneurs who have transformed their dreams into businesses. And joining me here in the studio is Billy Comer and Rodney Malone, two of the owners of 1865 Brewing Company in Hampton. Shauntel Davis, owner of a food truck and catering service, Avocargo, and Lee Anderson, founder of JLA Media Productions, which specializes in audio engineering for sound events. If you have questions for our guests, or have utilized their wares and services, want to talk about it, or if you have some advice, you're a business owner and you have some advice you'd like to share or you think people should know, please give us a call, 757-440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Lee.
Yes, ma'am.
Challenges that you didn't anticipate as a business owner.
Well, there were a lot of them, that's for sure. I would say two of the things that probably helped me to navigate through those challenges. One, I had a really good business mentor. When I first decided to open my previous business back in 2000, kind of showing me a lot of those lows up front. Not necessarily to scare me to death, but more or less to not go into it too naive. Because it's really easy to see people like myself, even at the level that we are at, and think that they can negate or overlook the process. Well, I could just go get a business license and I could be like you tomorrow. But it doesn't work like that. So having that, and then also having a strong work ethic. You have to go into this knowing or feeling like I only eat what I kill, so to speak. So a lot of the things that I had to deal with in that era, coming through that time frame, it wasn't the COVID issue then, but it was the economy going berserk in 2008. Because a lot of the people that I would service, a lot of the customers that I had, they weren't spending money like they used to, prior to that. And even now, learning what I learned then to apply it to JLA Media Productions has been a godsend, because now I approach things a lot more carefully. My focus and intention is a lot more deliberate, and paying attention to all my expendables. Not having to deal with brick and mortar now is a great thing, being a mobile business. But I think some of the hardest things is, I have a really big heart when it comes to serving customers and clients and that kind of thing. So I had a couple situations with a few employees where my heart was so big for them that I put that ahead of the dynamic of the business. And being able to differentiate the friendship from the business was something that I had to kind of learn and work through. Thank God for my wife on that, because
bounce that off.
Yeah.
Before we get to you guys and your highs, the biggest piece of advice you wish you known when you started that you'd like to share with somebody. I wish I knew this before I jumped into my business. Everybody gets a shot at this, so be thinking about it. I wish I knew this before I started my business. I know you've had a lot that you've gone through, but it's got to be something that just went, oh.
You want to start?
Oh, yeah, I could. I think for me, like she was saying, like Lee was saying, it's so many hurdles, like in roadblocks that are thrown in your way, like this license, this tax, this, it's so many different things, like, with the brewery and with our other business too. We know that you're gonna expect to do or have a road map for certain things, but the intangibles that are thrown at you, I think, are some of the hard things that you have to deal with.
Okay, alrighty, Billy.
For me, not just off of 1865, but B&B Contracting, the construction company, for me, is structuring my company the way or shielding my company the way that I'm not paying so much in taxes was a big thing for me. Originally, when I started my company, I was a sole proprietor. I started B&B contracting about 20 years ago. So I didn't know any of this, that, where you're taxed differently from being a sole proprietor. Then I talked to my CPA, and then I became an LLC. But then when you become an LLC, you then have to go back. Now, I can start as an S Corp if I start a new business, but you have to actually send a letter and forms and all this different forms to the IRS from change your LLC to S Corp, because you're taxed twice as an LLC, especially if you pay yourself. So for me, the lesson is, I've always learned the hard way, for it seems. I didn't have, like Lee said, he has a mentor. For me, I've never had a mentor. It's always kind of, get in the ring and just see who's the best man. You know what I mean? So, and it's a lesson learned. I can pass this on to my kids and their kids. And hopefully the reason that we're doing this is to build legacies.
Right.
Not just, your daddy was here. No, you can see the brick and mortar. You can see this apartment complex. You can see all the things, not just the items. Because when you pass, you're gone. You're not going to, care who gets the cars and the, homes and this, but something that you can stand by and stand on and say, listen, this is what we accomplished here. So when we meet the pearly gates, these are my works here. So much is given, much is expected. So I want to be pleasing to my family and make my mother proud and do the work that I was put here to do.
Is there anything you think local government could do to help businesses?
More grants,
more funding,
more information.
Yeah,
that too.
I was about to say, Shauntel, you started. It was like you were just all the research you had to do yourself. It wasn't a roadmap for you,
Absolutely.
And it's kind of good that you persevered through that, because now and you have your finger on the pulse of everything. And I think that's important too. That was an important lesson that you took from that and you continue to use. And I think that's something that young people need to know, or people in general who start a business. Is like Lee said, it's not going to be easy. If it was, everybody would do it, or everybody try to do it and succeed, but everybody doesn't. So, I think that's important.
Shauntel, that big piece of advice, that one thing that you wish you'd known before you started.
I think for me, I thought it was going to be easy because it was my second time around. I thought transitioning from a restaurant to a food truck, it was just going to be easy. I was going to get in there and people were going to know me from a taste of culture and know my food, and people were just going to show up. And I think that just taking a piece from what the guys from 1865 said, you have to put your sweat and your blood into it, regardless of what. I had a plan, and that plan goes haywire. I never knew how to drive a food trailer, so for a year, my partner drove the food trailer. If you see the bumper on my Silverado, is like about ready to fall off because I keep crashing into my gas tank and my generator. Because it's not the same as driving a regular car. So just not knowing certain things and thinking that it's going to be easy. I didn't know how to light the fires the first day he came on. There was so many technical things that I just thought I was going to show up, cook, give you guys a smile and you were going to buy, but not knowing how to put water in the trailer. Just the smallest things can drive you crazy and stress you out, and you don't think about that. So my advice would be try to find a mentor if you can. I think for me it was hard because people were looking at me as competition. So one of the things that I want to do in the future is train other chefs, bring them under my umbrella. I have an education degree. I think I have broke down everything in small increments. And that's how I created Avocargo Kids as well, just teaching them different aspects of the food business, but you can apply it to other businesses. That work ethic, super important. You have to have discipline. You have to have a plan. And even though things may go haywire and off the plan, at least you have a plan to look at and someone to guide you.
Yeah, I tell all my interns all the time, I said, find yourself a mentor.
Yes.
I said, find yourself a mentor because somebody has done that before, and
Yes.
they can save you a lot of pain and heartache, and guide you so you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls. Lee, that one thing you just wish you'd known before you started.
I would say don't be so rigid in a plan, because the best part of a plan is to be flexible, because you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
There were so many things that came up. You mentioned taxes. I had no idea that you had to pay a tax to dispose of something. I'm like, I'm throwing this away. Why am I paying a tax on that? I mean,
Wow.
It had gotten ridiculous to a point. But I would say knowing more of the little things that you don't expect or don't consider, and be open to change. A lot of people get caught up in the weeds of detail and wind up in a bad place.
Gotcha. Okay. The good stuff, the highs, I know they're there. So
They are. They are.
share some of the highs with us, please.
Just watching, it's like a baby. You know how, you have a child and your baby's learning to walk, and without your help, it's kind of heartbreaking because you're used to nurturing the child and helping them walk. So every business that I've started, it's kind of like my baby. So I'm watching my baby kind of walk and grow and learn on its own. At the same time, I'm learning and I'm growing from it as well. The construction company is kind of on autopilot. The funny thing about Shauntel, we're listening to this, and me and Rodney keep looking at each other because we just purchased a food trailer, and it was $50,000 pretty much. Mm-hmm. Just to try to get we're big on the grassroots marketing aspect of it, as well as getting our name out there. So I don't look at other breweries as, they're my competition. No, it's a brotherhood, whether you want me in your brotherhood or not.
Yeah.
I could be the black sheep of it all. I don't mind, even in construction world. I mean, that's what I've always went, up against. This is the competition. You're not my competition. You're an investor. You're not my competition. You know what I mean? As far as that. So I never look at anyone as my competition, just a different resource of plethora of information. Like, I probably pull you to the side and say, okay, what do I need to know about this food truck? You know what I mean? Or, can you get with my chef to tell them this, this the highs and lows parts of it. But the highs are just seeing the process through and just watching your baby grow and learn to walk and function on its own. And that's the highs of it. And then the rest is the stuff that the tangibles that you can do, buy, vacation and all that stuff.
Rodney, you're high.
For Crescent, I know when you work with kids with mental health issues or adults, and you see progress, that's like the ultimate high. It's not about the money, because we know the money is in social work is where it is. But for the brewery side, it was those 10, 12, 14-hour days that we were putting in and building it from the bottom up. And now we go and we walk in and we see, hey, people come in and say, hey, this place is great. Mm-hmm. They just see that stage of it, but and that's the high. But the low was in there about to pull our hair out.
Wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
And live in the car just because we were so, like stressed out about doing it. But I think about what my father, Coach Malone, would always say. He would say, and Lee, you touched on this, don't be so rigid with the first plan. We have plan A, B, C, and sometimes D, and I think that has helped when I look at the high and I say, oh, man, look, we went from here to there, and people, they recognize it now.
All in New England.
And
we had
we're
some people from New England yesterday.
right.
Oh,
And
this beer is the best.
and we're still doing it. We're still building. Like, so we're because I think it catches both of us off guard. Like when people say that, and we're like, okay, so it's working. We're still focused on that goal, but those are the highs.
Shauntel, tell us about your highs.
I think for me, it started with getting the trailer and then being able to socialize, new customers, meeting new people, influencing healthier lifestyles. People, it's funny. They come and they'll try my fried mushrooms and say, it tastes just like fried chicken. And I tried to do it at home, but it's not like yours. But at least you're in the kitchen and trying to cook a healthier meal. For me, it was Avocargo kids. They were bored during the pandemic. They were home. I challenged them to write a song. And so we have a song out that I produced, did the video for, had no idea what I was doing, just from being a whole, I'm not going to tell my age, but growing up with the 80s and 90s music. So that's how I influenced the video. My auntie make the best food. So that was the highs, watching the process as of the 1865. And then Mr. Lee said, watching the process, watching your baby grow. We're continuing to grow, meeting new people, being accepted into our community and other communities. So I'm just excited for where we're going. We're looking right now for a brick and mortar. I had customers and different people come to me wanting to invest. So I'm writing investment packages. So I'm just excited. I didn't know this would take me down this route. So I'm just trying to enjoy it, have fun, and create the legacy as we spoke about.
Wonderful. Lee, share some of your highs.
So much like you guys, there's basically two things. One is the relationships, meeting so many different people, influencing so many different people. But I think the most important one to me is seeing my work and the passion, drive, work ethic, all those things manifest in my kids. To see every one of them focus more on entrepreneurship. Not to say they're not going to try to get a job or whatever like that, but their number one focus is taking their dream and making it something that's theirs. So I think that's a really, really big deal for me. My grandfather used to always say, live your life so that your kids can grow up and be just as proud of you as you are of them.
I had a question for you from earlier. Someone asked, how do you and your wife get time away from the business and kids? That's always a challenge with parents and people running family businesses.
Well, that's a good one. I include them.
Gotcha.
Like everybody's got a part. You might be rolling cable today. You might be standing behind a console tomorrow. And I use those times as quality time, so it's not all the work side of it, but just spending that time. Like one of you guys said earlier, when you do what you love, it's not really work. So I've tried my best.
Yeah. That was me.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Because I feel that way about writing and reporting and telling stories. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. What social media platforms are you all using to get your business and out there in the community so people will know what's going on?
We're on 1865 Brewing Company. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Funny to say that.
I know.
TikTok, really?
Yes. Okay. Avocargo's on everything. We have avocargova.com. We have Facebook, which we were just hacked, but we made a new page because everyone loves us. I don't know what's going on. We're Instagram, Twitter. My nieces made me get into TikTok, so I'm up there dancing and cooking.
I'm gonna have to check out some of these TikTok videos.
And YouTube. So just trying to follow it all, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Lee,
I honestly need to get better about that because I'm only on Facebook as far as the business side of it. But I honestly need to get better at that.
Okay, all right. I want to know what you tell yourselves when you get up in the morning. as far as being business owners, and what do you say when you get up in the morning, especially after you've had maybe a rough day the day before? How you motivate yourself? What is it that you
I wake up, I get on my knees, I thank God for the highs and lows. I prayed for this, so I prayed to be this busy. I prayed to have this much work or this many clientels coming to the brewery, or people calling me for construction or new construction or rehabs or, that type of thing. So I have to tell myself, you prayed for this. What are you fussing about? I need a break. No, you don't. You can have a break. Right. You can have a break, all right. Yeah. Sit here for a year or two. No, I don't need that. So I tell myself, look, you have this. This is what you prayed for. This is what your mother prayed for. So, make them proud. So that's what I tell myself every morning when I get on my knees. Hey, I got this.
Rodney, what do you tell yourself when you wake up in the morning?
After I meditate for a little bit and get that, spiritual energy, I just basically say, let me help someone, let me be good to somebody else today. Let me brighten up somebody else's, life and world. That's basically how I live my life. I just, stress-free, don't need it around me. But it's a positive mental attitude that I'm always thinking like that. So I just say, hey, be nice to somebody that I don't know today and help somebody else.
Gotcha. Shauntel?
For me, yes, all the spiritual and praying and being thankful, but just remembering my grandparents. I mean, this is what they dreamed to do, and I can't believe I'm doing it for them. So they used to cook for the church every Sunday. We had to help them pluck some collard greens, and everyone used, Mr. Davis, them collard greens are good, and now look at me with my collard green egg rolls.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm thankful every day, and I feel like I'm living their dream. That's what I tell myself every day. I'm living the dream. We're living the dream.
We are.
We are living the dream.
We are.
This is almost uncanny because it's the same thing for me. Get up and pray and tell myself, you prayed for this. Mm-hmm. You're walking in it. Mm-hmm. So the good, the bad, the rain, the sun, you prayed for this. This is all part of the process.
Okay, who's your biggest fan?
My wife.
Jewel. Okay.
Yeah, and the kids come right behind her. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shauntel, who's your biggest fan?
I think my partner, DJ. Again, I never thought I would be doing this. And he was 400 pounds, and now he's 200-ish pounds. And he never thought he would be eating vegan food. And every day he's like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So this is what I'm doing. That's my biggest fan.
Rodney?
I'll defer to Billy while I think about it a little more.
I think my biggest fan would have to be, and I don't want to make anyone mad, but my biggest fan is my mother. Just because she worked at Verizon, but before then it was AT&T. Before that was CNP, and she just, the concept for her were college and work. It should, what the kids should be doing. Entrepreneurs, scared them that, she's in her 70s, so there was no really entrepreneurs that she can look up to and say, this is what it is. So for her to still be alive and to see this, and she has poured into so much into me, just the fact that I can pour it back into her, it's crazy. I just call him like, look, pour into me a little bit. Tell me how proud you are of me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the good thing. And she doesn't miss a beat. She wakes up, sends me scriptures, and reassures me that I'm doing God's work and it's all going to work out. And so I can have my highs and lows. And the fact of she's still here to witness this. My grandfather's not here, but because she is here to witness this, and my father is here to witness it, it's just one of them things that, I just thank God for that they can see it, because I know she supported me when she shouldn't support me at all. That type of thing. Like, he was a hard-headed little boy, So, but to see that through, because that's just one of the things. It's a blessing to have her just around, just to, be that to look at me and say, she didn't have to say anything. She just look at me, almost with tears in her eyes, like, you done it. You know what I mean? So, I still got some more to do, but I think she's okay now.
You ready to show her?
Yeah,
You want to get scared? What's going on?
Be careful.
No, I was just thinking about my dad. He passed about 6 years ago, but he was constant. He was a psychologist, a coach, a mentor, a minister, all those things in one. Social worker, you name it. And he had just instilled that work ethic, and always. Had something positive to say and always had my back. I would say my dad, and then I would say my wife and my mother and my immediate family, because that's, my wife is a great team member. I bounce things off of her. Sometimes I'm ready to jump out there in the water, and she's like, well, hold on for a minute. It might be a shark down in there, and so, you have to have that balancing, act in your life, whether it be your mom, your dad, or your grandparents, which I think about them and pray for all the time that I'm glad I was their grandkid, so all of those things. So family is very important.
Okay. Now I've been taking notes as y'all have been speaking, trying to get some points that we can end this with. We have probably about 2 minutes left, and I'm going to let people know how they can reach you in that 2 minutes. But I have plan, prepare to see it through, find yourself a mentor. Am I leaving something else out?
Put God first.
Put God first. We'll
Number one.
Put that as 0 before we go to 1.
Right.
That's right.
All right. Okay. 1865.
We are social media, of course, 1865 Brewing Company. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're at 9 South Mallory in Hampton, Phoebus area, near Mango Girls. So
right next door. Yep.
Right next door. I've been to Mango. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So avocargova.com. We're all over social media at Avocargo. I still answer my phone, 757-717-3917. If you want to book me, you want me to cater for you, and the brick and mortar is coming soon.
Looking forward to that. You got to keep me posted when that happens.
Definitely. Grand open gala party. Yay.
Lee.
You can reach me by email at jlamediapros@gmail.com or cell as well, 757-338-6984.
And we'll be right back right after this.
Let me get some of you.
Alrighty, I'd like to thank our guests for sharing their stories with us today, and I'd like to remind you that next Thursday, Another View is on the road. Now, we'll be live at the Hampton Roads Convention Center for the Buffalo Soldiers National Convention. Be sure to log on to our website at anotherviewradio.org and reserve your seat. Now, if you feel this Another View program or any of the programs that we've had in the past might benefit you, please reach out, log on to our website and watch. You can find a podcast of this show and all of our shows at anotherviewradio.org. Now, while you're there, please sign up for our eView newsletter. It's a once-a-week reminder of our upcoming shows. Barbara will be in the big chair when we're out at the Buffalo Soldiers. We're excited that she'll be back, but she's taking some well-deserved time off. We can also find information about Another View on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at Godley_Lisa. Our theme music is an original composition created especially for Another View by Jay Sinnott. A big thank you to Paul Bebo, who so graciously filled in for me, to Todd Washburn, our audio engineer, and Jordan, thank you so much for answering our phones. I'm Lisa Godley. Thank you for spending your noonday hour with us, and be sure to join us next Thursday live at noon for Another View.
Support comes from Hampton Roads Community Foundation, carrying out your charitable wishes forever, whether it's helping shelter animals, feeding the homeless, enhancing the arts, or supporting students. Learn more at leaveabequest.org.
Support comes from Thomas Nelson Community College, now becoming Virginia Peninsula Community College, the first choice, whether starting your bachelor's degree or advancing your career. More at tncc.edu.